Now, up to this point, I've not explained every available method for both placing hatches and patterns and for deleting hatches and patterns. And that's because there are a wide range of options in both cases. Now, rather than demonstrate each possible option on the screen, which will likely bore you, and in any case you're unlikely to remember every single one, I have made a list of each option and placed them in a file on your working units folder called pattern attributes and deletions.pdf. It will be helpful if you went through that file very carefully, trying each option in turn, and then you can decide which particular options suit your area of drafting. And having done that, you'll find that you're probably quite confused because there are so many options. So to help things along a little bit, and assuming that you only need the very basic options for placing and deleting hatches and patterns, I can offer some simple methods of placing and deleting hatches. Now, the most important thing is the associative pattern setting. If that is on, then complications ensue in both placing hatches and patterns and deleting them. So normally you'd turn that off for the simplest possible placement and deletion. Use element symbology is optional too, and this only sets the attributes for the hatch or pattern in relation to either the active attributes or the boundary element. For example, right now I have active attributes of red and line type number 2, whereas my bounding element is white and line type 0. If I place a hatch right now, hatch is working, my settings are on, no associative pattern, select the element, pick a corner, there's my hatch. Very simple, very straightforward, but again, quite limited. If I move or edit the boundary, it has no effect on the hatch. Now that's as simple as it gets in that case. If I undo, go back to the tool, use element symbology on, select the element, data point, and I'm now using the attributes of the bounding element, including the weight in this case. Now that may or may not be what you want. It's usually safer to turn this off and set individual attributes if you need them. Exactly the same applies to a flood hatch or pattern. Again, associate is off, flood, and place the hatch. Very straightforward. Now, deleting, as you've probably discovered already, is a little more complex. And to summarize quickly, there are 4 different deletion tools you can use. The first one is the delete pattern tool on the patterns toolbox. The second is the delete element tool on the main toolbox. The third is the delete key on your keyboard. And the fourth is the delete fence contents tool on the fence toolbox. Each method can have different actions depending on the current settings. Getting back to our easiest possible placement and deletion scenario, having placed patterns and hatches with basic settings, then deletion becomes relatively straightforward. I can delete individual elements with the delete key, or if I want the whole pattern to be deleted, then make sure that graphic group is on. Go to the delete element tool, select the pattern or hatch and data point, and it deletes. That's the basic setup for placement and deletion. Now again, it depends on your specific area of drafting whether you need more sophisticated methods than that. Now, in addition to actually deleting hatches or patterns, you can use the level system to control the display of the actual hatch. So a hatch doesn't necessarily have to be deleted, it merely needs to be turned off. So you would create a level or levels specifically for hatches, and you would control it one of 2 ways. You would go to the levels pull down and turn off the display of a particular level, or go to View Attributes and turn off the display of patterns. Don't be confused with the pattern bump maps. That's a 3D material type of setting. Patterns is the one you want. So please experiment with all the options and make a choice as to your best working possibilities.